So it says, and it came to pass when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death. So that he told her all his heart, and said unto her, there have not come a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite unto the Most High from my mother's womb. If I have shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, come up this once, for he have showed me all his heart. Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, and brought money in her hand, and she made him sleep upon her knees. And she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head, and she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. And she said, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he woke out of his sleep, and said, I will go out as other times before, and shake myself. And he was not that the Lord Yahawah was departed from him. But the Philistines took him and put out his eyes, and brought him down to the Gaza, and bound him with fetters of brass, and he did grind in the prison house. Now you see what I'm saying? So right there, man, these women, they're against you. You know what? I gotta. Some wicked ass woman, man. But at the end of the day, you know, like I said, that's why I brought out Proverbs 31:3. Now I want to get this. It says, First Esdras 4:26. It says, yeah, many there be that have run out of their wits for women, and become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women. Alright, now in this case, Samson has erred for women. You know, because that was a mistake that he did for Delilah, and I would have, you would have thought that he would have knew from the first wife, told her own people of the riddle. But the same thing happened again with Delilah. It shows you the strength, the weakness, and the power of these women. And far as who perished from the woman, that's what I'm about to go. I'm gonna go into with is it Olofernes or Holofernes? Because what he perished from a woman. Lust for of the beauty of her. But I'll get into that in a minute. But it says, and sin for woman. Now in that case, we have who? We have King David, and then we have King Solomon. All right. Next scripture is Ecclesiastes 7:26. It says, and I find more bitter than death the woman, whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleases the Most High shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. But my point was at the top, it says, and I find more bitter than death the woman, whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Bands is what? Like they tie you up. And it says snares and nets, it's a trap. They trap you up. And this is what Delilah have done. To the point where Samson got caught by the Philistines and they took his eyes out. But we know he overcame in the last. So, far as when he was in the house, he pulled down the pillars and killed, the Philistines. But the point was about giving thy strength into thy woman. So now let's go to, I want to get into this little story on what Judith did. Let's find her real quick. I just had her somewhere. Alright, yep, Judith. So let's where do I want to start at? Bear with me. Alright, so let's start at bear with me, y'all can. Alright, well, let's start at, because many was lusting after her beauty is Olofernes, right? But we're gonna start at 10 and start at 3. And it says, cause this is what she did. This is how you know women be knowing what they be doing, trying to seduce you. Alright? And it says, and that's speaking of Judas, and it said, look what she did. And she says, and she pulled off her sackcloth which she had on, and put off the garments of her widowhood, and washed her body all over with water, and anointed herself with precious ointment, and braided the hair of her head, and put on a tire upon it, and put on her garments of gladness, wherewith she was clad during the life of Manasseh her husband. And she took sandals upon her feet, and put upon her and her bracelets, and her chains, and her rings, and her earrings, and all the ornaments, and decked herself bravely to allure the eyes of all men that should see her. Exactly what these women do nowadays. You know, they get all savvy looking. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, little women can look beautiful, but now these days, you know, they'll put on all this tight and low shit and things like that to what? To allure these men into them. Trap them up. Snares and nets. Alright. So let's jump down to verse 7. It says, and when they saw her, that her countenance was altered, and her apparel was changed, they wondered at her beauty very greatly, and said unto her, the power of her fathers give the favor and accomplish thine enterprise of the glory of the children of Israel, and the exaltation of Jerusalem. Then they worshiped the Most High. Let's jump right to the point. Alright, so basically, I'm gonna get to the point. It says, because Olofernes said, they never seen a woman of her on the earth, of her beauty and her wisdom before. You know, because I want to make this kind of short. And it says, we're gonna go to Judith 12 and 14. It says, then said Judith unto him, who am I now, that I should gainsay my Lord? Surely whatsoever pleases him I will do speedily, and this shall be my joy unto the day of my death. So she arose and decked herself with her apparel and all her woman's attire, and her maid went and laid soft skins on the ground of her over against Olofernes, which she had received of Boaz for her daily use, that she might sit and eat upon them. Now when Judith came and sat down, Olofernes' heart was ravished with her. His mind was moved, and he desired greatly for her company, for he waited a time to deceive her from the day that he had seen her. Then said Olofernes unto her, drink now and be merry with us. So Judith said, I will drink now, my Lord, because my life is magnified in me this day, more than all the days since I was born. Then she took and ate and drank before him what her maid had prepared. And Olofernes took great delight in her, and drank much more wine than he had drunk at any time in one day since he was born. So right there is telling you, right there, he says he drank more wine in one day since he was born. That means, you know, she was so beautiful and she had him out his mind that, you know, he got to being married, you know, drinking and all that. Basically, she took him out of his character. And this is what women do now. They take men out their character. Alright, so to finish this up, it says, now, let's. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna jump to verse Judith 13:3. It says, Now Judith had commanded her maid to stand without her bedchamber and to wait for her coming forth as she did daily, for she said she would go forth to pay her prayers, and she spake to Boaz according to the same purpose. So all went forth, and none was left in the bedchamber, neither little nor great. Then Judith standing by his bed said in her heart, O Lord, power of all power, look at this present upon the works of my hands, for the exaltation of Jerusalem. For now is the time of help thy inheritance, and execute my enterprises to the destruction of the enemies which are risen against us. Then she came to the pillar of the bed which was at Olofernes' head, and took down his falchion from thence, and approached his bed, and took hold of the hair of his head, and she said, Strengthen me, O Lord, power of Israel, this day. And she smote him twice upon the neck with all her might, and she took away his head from him, and tumbled his body down from the bed, and pulled down the canopy from the pillars, and anon after she went forth, and gave Olofernes his head to her maid, and she put it in the bed of meat. She put it in her bag of meat. So they twain went together according to her custom to prayer. And when they passed the camp, they passed the valley, and went up to the mountain of Bethulia, and came to the gates thereof. And then said Judith afar off to the watchman at the gate, Open, open now the gate. The Most High, even our power, is with us. Show his power yet in Jerusalem, and his forces against the enemy, as she have even done this day. So, yeah. So basically, she went to her. She went back to her people, and as it says in the 15th verse, she took the head out of the bag and showed it, and said unto them, Behold, the head of Olofernes, the chief of the captain of the army of Assur. And behold, the canopy where he did lie in his drunkenness, and the Lord has smitten him by the hand of a woman. Alright, so that shows you, she had him out of his character, point that he was getting drunk, lusting after her beauty. Keep battling. Let me get a scripture, I also want to bring these scriptures out, not just read in the Babylon out the mouth. Yeah, so she took this man out of his whole character. And this is what women do, and this happens to a lot of men now. Alright, so Sirach 9:8. It says, Turn away thy eye from a beautiful woman, and look not upon another's beauty. For many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman, for herewith love is kindled as fire. Alright, so that in that situation, that's what has happened, In many instances, a lot of people, a lot of men are deceived by the beauty of a woman. Cause just cause she's beautiful on the outside, that bitch be having demons with her. Come with a whole bunch of baggage. Alright, so men out there need to wisen up. And we in the times we in, we coming into some perilous times. Not saying that you're not gonna want to get with a woman. We men out here, so we gonna want to get our rocks off. But it's not that time to fall under to the snares and traps of these women. I wanted to bring out something else too. But yeah, I don't want to, keep babbling on. I wanted to go into some more about someone else, but, I'll do that another time. So, yeah, pretty much, I read that scripture again. Pretty much, these men has fell from the woman. So, read that again. It says Proverbs 31:3. It says, Give not thy strength unto a woman, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Alright? So even in that situation with Judah, he might have not thought he was giving that strength to her, but he did by what? Lusting after her beauty to the point where he got drunk and wasn't on point and on guard.